Hey, what's up, guys? Red Bishop here, and welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't done a proper commentary video in quite some time, so I figured with E3 this week, it's the perfect time to actually to do that. And what you'll see in the background is you'll see some gameplay of Remember Me, the Capcom published game developed by Don't Nod Entertainment that came out about a week before E3, so about a week ago. And if you haven't played this game, I suggest watching this video, maybe watching some other videos, and go pick this game up. I think it's got a unique art style, and unique visuals. It's got gameplay. I think is similar to Batman Arkham Asylum, but it has some kind of unique tricks to make it different. But that's what's in the background. But what I want to talk about today was some games of E3 2013. We already know the consoles, Xbox One and PS4, and I'm not going to talk about them independently because I'm going to end up getting both of them. So I'm not going to try to start a war about which one's better and which one has this, which one has not, which one doesn't have it, all that. So I'm just going to talk about the games of E3 2013 that either have impressed me the most or the ones that I haven't seen a ton of, but I'm curious to see what the game will bring to the table. So let's just start off with, not supposed to start with a showstopper, but let's do it. Titanfall, the new game from Respawn Entertainment, from the makers, some of the makers of the Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 games. Call of Duty. They showed that at the Xbox One press conference. They had a trailer, and they had some, a multiplayer match going on. That game looks incredibly fun to play, and it looks great. It's using Valve's Source engine, and I think they made that engine look very, very pretty. And there's mechs. There's jetpacks. You can traverse on walls now, run on walls. I mean, there's some stuff in that game that I think if it plays well, because I obviously have not gotten hands-on with it, if it plays well, if it looks like it's going to play well, it will be a game that I think most people will enjoy, and it might be, I know this comes around every year, what's going to be the Call of Duty killer, what's going to be the game that's going to dethrone Call of Duty. This very well could be that game. Now, if you're somebody who's planning on buying a PS4 or you own a PS3, this game is only coming to PC, Xbox 360, and Xbox One at launch. They have not talked about a PS4 or PS3 version, so just take that into account if you're wondering about Titanfall. And another game I want to talk about is, of course, let's just go ahead and do it. Call of Duty Ghost. Makers of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. This is Infinity Ward making it this year. Nothing about Call of Duty Ghost has impressed me. But most of the time, stuff around this time of year doesn't impress me because they're focusing mainly on single player. They don't talk about multiplayer until late August, early September at the earliest. So, like, the fact that you can play as a dog and the dog looks better and the graphics look better on the Xbox One and PS4 versions, that's all fine and dandy. But I'm curious about the multiplayer. And with the way Infinity Ward handled Modern Warfare 3, I'm kind of hesitant to learn what they're doing with Call of Duty Ghost because they have that slide feature that is going to be in multiplayer. That's basically going to be the new dolphin dive for them. They have the peek feature where you can peek around corners, so I'm curious to see how that's going to be handled. And the single player stuff, you can go underwater, you can all that. That's cool, but most people that play Call of Duty don't care about that. I know that stuff showcases well at E3 on a stage and stuff. But it's just most people just don't care about that. They want to play the multiplayer, want to see what the maps are going to look like, what guns are going to be there, and all that stuff. So until they actually showcase that and tell us more about it, Call of Duty Ghost is Call of Duty to me. And let's just go right into its rival next with Battlefield 4. They showcased single player at Microsoft's press conference, despite the technical difficulties. And then they showcased at EA's press conference, they actually showed 64-player multiplayer, which is, supposedly supposed to be on the Xbox One and PS4 versions, 64 players online. That game, I will say, with the Frostbite 3 engine, looks absolutely incredible. The way they do the lighting, the way they do obviously the sun glare is there, the way they do all that stuff, the water, it looks fantastic. The downside of that is I've never been a huge Battlefield fan. I'm not a huge fan of the way that the controls are, how kind of stiff it is compared to the looseness of Call of Duty. I know a lot of people love Battlefield, so I'm not hating on the game. I do enjoy it to some extent. But when it comes to which first-person shooter I usually play the most every year, it's more Call of Duty because it's a little bit faster paced than Battlefield is. And so, I mean, Battlefield 4, what I saw of it, I'm impressed with it. I will definitely pick it up and play it and see for myself. And I'm sure there will be tons of people who will also do the same because that is a huge franchise for EA and DICE. But if I had to choose between that and Call of Duty, I would probably choose Call of Duty. I know that might start a flame war, so sorry about that. But let's get to some exclusives here. Forza 5 is a game that most people don't seem to care for racing games anymore. Yet Forza Motorsport does pretty well for itself every year, and Forza 5 seems to be doing something a little different and unique with its. This is a dumb word. I'm not even glad to be saying it. Their Drivatar, which basically takes everything that you do when you drive in a race, online, single player, whatever, puts it into the cloud. And then say you have a friend that's also got Forza 5, when he starts racing, instead of him going against a regular AI opponent, they will pull down your driving experiences from the cloud, and it's basically like racing Ghost. It's basically that. But to me, that's a cool idea because there are certain times when you race in racing games where AI gets way too aggressive, is way too easy to beat, or they just ride that one racing line that the developers put them on. And with this, it adds a little bit of unpredictable. It's unpredictable with this Drivatar stuff because if my friend is racing erratic in his races and they pull that down from the cloud into my race, I mean, he could very well wreck me. But if he's driving very clean and all that kind of stuff, then it could be a very good challenge instead of racing against the AI that most of the time, is pretty easy to beat in these games. So I thought that was a very cool feature they talked about it at E3, and that's about the only racing game I have on here. I have a bunch of games written down, but I'm not going to talk about a ton of them. I will say this: Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced at the Sony press conference. For people who are wondering, that is also coming to the Xbox One, so it is a multi-platform game. Not a lot was shown besides a trailer, and that it is being worked on and being developed, so that's probably at least, at the earliest, 2 to 3 years out. But I'm really interested in that. I'm a huge fan of the Kingdom Hearts series. I think Square Enix does a great job incorporating the Disney characters into that. So for those that didn't know that is coming. And then we'll stay with exclusives here. We'll go back to exclusive, I should say, because Kingdom Hearts is not an exclusive. But Infamous Second Son is unfortunately not a launch game for the PlayStation 4. Disappointed by that because that is something that I really wanted to play when I picked up a PS4. But I've seen some gameplay of it, and if you haven't, I'm sure it's on YouTube. It's on various sites. There's about a 6 to 7 minute gameplay video of Infamous Second Son that looks. The game not only looks incredible, but the way it plays they seem to have improved some stuff, some various mechanics with it. And when it comes to Sucker Punch, who is a developer of the Infamous series, they seem to it's one of those series that it gets better with each game. Some franchises with each game it gets kind of less and less and less, but this one it's getting better and better, and I'm looking forward to playing it in 2014. Like I said, I'm disappointed it's not a launch game, but hopefully 2014. Hopefully it comes out in early 2014, maybe February or March or something around there, because it's a game I really, really want to play. And we talked about Call of Duty and Battlefield, so we might as well talk about Destiny, Bungie's new game. Obviously, the makers of Halo. It's a pretty big deal that being published by Activision and being multi-platform, it's a big deal for them to have Destiny at the show and to show it off at Sony's PlayStation conference. And from what I saw of that game, I'll be honest with you, I was not really ecstatic to hear or play that game until I saw it. Once I saw that game in action, that game looks very cool. It has loot you can pick up. It has kind of those iconic Halo weapons without actually being those iconic Halo weapons. The game is obviously, again, with these being next-gen games, look gorgeous. The way they do their lighting, I think, is fantastic. And it's something that I think if it does come out at launch for these new next-gen consoles, they have not confirmed a date, so I'm not sure if that is actually going to happen. I will probably pick that up. And the interesting thing about Destiny and Call of Duty Ghost and Titanfall is we already know about Titanfall that the 360 version, the Xbox 360 version, will be developed by a different studio than the Xbox One version. But when it comes to Destiny and Call of Duty Ghost, are both of those being developed by their respective studios? We know Call of Duty Ghost has Infinity Ward, not Respawn, sorry, Raven Software and Neversoft, all three developing Call of Duty Ghost. So is one of them, Raven or Neversoft, doing the 360 PS3 versions, and then Infinity Ward is doing next gen? We haven't really got confirmation on that. And when it comes to Destiny, is Bungie doing the Xbox One and PS4 versions, and somebody else is doing the 360 or PS3, or are they just doing all of them? It's something that, again, has not been clarified, so I'd be interested to know more about that. And since this is about 10.5-minute video already, I'll go ahead and try to blaze through these other ones. New Mirror's Edge. It has been confirmed it will be open world. It is not Mirror's Edge 2. It is more of a prequel than a sequel. So I'm very interested in that. I love the original Mirror's Edge, and it's way overdue for them to have another game in the franchise. And Mad Max was announced at Sony's press conference. Developed by Avalanche, who are the makers of Just Cause and Just Cause 2. I think they can do some fantastic things with Mad Max. They didn't show really any gameplay. They showed a kind of a CG trailer that the game will release next year, 2014. I'm curious to hear and see more about that. And Quantum Break is an exclusive for the Xbox One, being made by Remedy Entertainment, the makers of Alan Wake and Max Payne, the original Max Payne. This is going to be kind of a unique game, a weird game also. It's going to be a game, but it's also going to have its own TV series that will be bundled with the game. So the inside of the game, you'll get season 1 of a TV series, and it's going to be live action, and it's going to and the way you play the game is going to influence that TV series. So that's an interesting concept, and again, not a launch game. Like most of these games that I'm really anticipating and really looking forward to playing won't come out until early to mid, maybe even late 2014. But that's another game that I'm really looking forward to. And the last one I'll talk about here that's on my list is The Division. It was unveiled the last game to be unveiled at Ubisoft's press conference, and it seems like it is an MMO third-person shooter that, again, next-gen game, looks gorgeous. But the way that they showed that off was, it looked incredibly, incredibly cool. If you don't know what that game is, the Division, look that up on YouTube. I am positive there's some gameplay videos of it. That will probably shock you, because Ubisoft's press conference was very kind of boring to me until they started talking about the Division and they showed that off. That was a game that kind of got my heart pumping and kind of got me like, yeah, I'm interested in this. The downside, again, that probably won't release until late 2014 because Watch Dogs will be Ubisoft's big game for this year on next-gen platforms. So, but that's the games that at E3 that kind of got me the most anticipated. There were other games that I liked, but they weren't something I really wanted to discuss in depth about. So if there are any games that at E3 that kind of got your attention, that kind of got you riled up a little bit, let me know. I'm interested to find out what other people think. And with that, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.